Yo, what is going on, guys? Today I'll be telling you how to get a macro, and I will be showing you guys the difference between a macro and just a good player. So, I'll start off with how to tell the difference between a macro and just a good player. I also recommend do not use macros in real games. You will get permanently banned, and that is a straight fact. So, also, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Sorry about my mic quality. It's hard getting a good mic nowadays because of what's happening now. It's just a grind. I don't use macros normally. Also, I need to clear that up. I don't use macros normally. This is just an educational video, and I have a Razer mouse, so I said, why not? So, this is what a macro looks like. I'll just wait a few seconds, and pretty soon here it'll be invisible. There we go. So that's what a macro looks like. It's insanely fast. Now, I just made that completely invisible with a macro in so short of time. Here's real editing. Most people are way faster than me because they're just better. Yeah. Also, if you see someone editing like this and then using their scroll wheel, just know that's not macro, because macro can't edit two tiles at once like this. Macro can't even hold down edit. It just instantly, like that. So, pretty soon here, I'll get on to showcasing the macro, and then I'll explain to you guys how to get it at the end. There we go. As you can see, it's pretty insane. I just use it because it's satisfying to use, in my opinion. It's also just fun to mess with my friends. They honestly just think it's insane, and so do I. Macros are incredibly easy to use, which is something that surprises me. Because literally a 9-year-old could get this and just macro on anybody. To be honest, that's the sad truth. Macros are incredibly easy to use and incredibly accessible. So is aimbot, but we're not going to talk about that. So I will right now build up. And I'd say this is a good height. Ah, shoot. And then like that. Also, if you see someone editing like I did before while using the macro in a real game, I would recommend reporting them because, as I said, macros can get you permanently banned in real games, and it's not okay to use them in real games because it's a competitive advantage. Don't use them in creative fill. I mean, unless if you are trying to risk it. I doubt you get banned in creative fill, but because I've done it before in creative fill, but there's always that chance. So here's what it looks like just going down not stairs, you know what I mean? It's way faster for other people, but I have high ping today, as you can see, 18 ping. Not the best. And that was easy. It would normally take the average player way longer than it took me to do that. I did that before, but Alan was just too loud and boring. So if you see a macro player doing this, just know that they're not macroing. Double edits are incredibly easy to do if you know how to do them. And as I said, not everybody macros. Sometimes they're just good. Like, if you look at BHE Riffs videos, all macros can tell, all macro users can tell, and I hate to break it to the Serpent AU fans, Serpent AU still macros, because us macro players can notice the difference between real editors and macroers. Serpent AU still macros. I'm going to clear out some names, and I'm going to tell you some people who macro. all of the BHE members that I know of don't use macros. BHE Rift, he's not in BHE anymore, but he does not macro. I could say that much. Serpent AU still macros, which is very unfortunate. He kind of like lied to everybody and said he stopped. Not cool, man, but you know. Unless if I'm just completely wrong. If you use a macro, say it in the comments if you think he still uses a macro or not, and display evidence if not. But what's called? I think this will be my last little showcasing, and then I'll show you guys how to get the macro itself. This is actually really satisfying, and I like doing this. Not the scrolling down part, just the sheer macro itself. And then I'll come back around with some floors. And then I'll be done showcasing, and then I'll show you guys how to get the macro itself. So, stay tuned for the end. So, okay, I fell straight through. Let's just show you guys how to get the macro. Ah, I just lagged. So, first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to download the Razer Synapse. With the Razer Synapse, you can download it by going to Google and searching up Razer Synapse. This will only work if you have a Razer mouse, by the way. So if you don't have a Razer mouse, sorry. I'm very sorry for you. But this is my mouse right here, Razer Death Raider Essential. You're going to want to, you can either click this or this. I just clicked that for no reason, but then you're going to want to go and click the plus button for you guys. For me, I already have my macros, but you're going to want to hit the plus button. It'll take you to macro 1. You're going to want to click on macro 1. Now, most edit binds are either E, F, or G or something like that. Just hit record and click your edit button once. Your edit bind, I mean, once. It'll show up that you clicked it twice, but just do it once. And then you're going to want to click left click once. Then click the record button again to stop recording. It'll save it there. These won't pop, it won't input or go in if you don't hit the record button. You're going to want to keep this at 0 delay right here. Change it to 0.1 second delay. You're just going to want to click on it, 0.1 seconds, you know. Make sure you have for the keyboard ones, which is, you know, your edit bind. For this one right here, not the top one, you're not going to want to change that. Put it on keystroke and whatever your edit bind is right down here. Then for left click, 0.01 I mean, delay, action, mouse button, and then mouse button, left click, 0.01 for this one as well, mouse button, left click. You're going to want to go to your mouse now, and you're going to want to click this right here. This is my macro bind, so is that, and so is this. Those are all of my macro binds, because if I hit all three, it goes Super Saiyan mode. And basically, just click on macro 3, or for you guys it'll be like macro 1 or something like that, or any of these, to be honest, actually. Just any of these, whichever is your macro bind. You're gonna, by the way, to click on them, to select which macro you want, you're going to want to click on one of these. You can't click on left click, as you can see. You're going to, I prefer, in my opinion, if you don't have like a bind somewhere, you're gonna want to do that. But what's called, you're just gonna want to click on one of these. If you don't have a bind right here, click on this. If you don't have a bind on hold, like scrolling up on the macro, click right here. And if you don't have a bind for holding down your scroll wheel, like fully holding it down, then I decide that one. That's the one I mainly use. This is just my regular. After that, after you select all that, you're going to go to, for you guys, macro 1. And, yeah, it's, well, here you go. Play while a sign key is pressed, and if that doesn't show up for you, you're going to want to click on a different one of these. So play while assign key is pressed. If it says what it says right here, only those two, click on one around it and it should say, this. And how you know you're at the right one, it'll have all of these settings. Don't click any of them, just all of these. And if you want to not macro, just have your regular bind back, you're going to want to click interior device and then just switch back your settings to that itself, and then you'll be fine for sure. Well, while assign key is pressed right there, last one down here, save, get on your little Fortnite, start macroing, go crazy. Now here are the things you can do this on, okay? You can, do this in creative fill, and you can do this in creative with your friends. Because you won't get banned there, unless if every single player in the creative lobby reports you, then you should be fine. Actually, no, you need 20 reports, I'm pretty sure, to get banned. Or Epic Games has to signify it. But Epic Games can't detect anything in creative, so just vibe in there, honestly, and that's where you're clear. You can do this in real games, it's just very risky. I did it once in a real game, and it gave me a warning and kicked me out. So just remember, don't do this in real games, guys. Now, if you do have something, if all of your mouse buttons are a bind, just switch it up, because it's only creative, it's not a real game. And you don't need to do any settings with it. That's the best part about this, I'd say. You don't need to switch any actual Fortnite settings, unless if you have a bind already. I had to remove my keybinds, so here's my thumb mouse button. Macro, never mind, I disabled that one. Here's my scrolling up wheel. Not the best in my opinion. And then here's my holding down my mouse. Just stays at 1 HP, man. I honestly love it. It's just so fun, to be honest here. They're incredibly easy to get. Please don't hate on anybody with macros. I mean, even Serpent AU, he still uses macros, but if you, say one thing about it in the comments, a bunch of his fans are gonna get super pressed at you. Just because they like Serpent AU. But, yeah, as long as you just make sure your friends don't know that you're macroing, it'll be incredibly funny. That's how you get good content. Don't stage anything either. Just make everything 100% real, and your fans love it. Now, for clearing some more names, and how to tell if there's, someone's macroing. If you hear their keyboard being pressed like this, they're not macroing, because they're hitting their keyboard to edit. If you hear absolutely nothing, just that, they're macroing 100%. And some people don't have good macros, so it's not even obvious that they're macroing. Some people just have terrible macros. So you can't even tell sometimes, but if you don't hear someone's keyboard while they're editing, it just means they're macroing, or they have a horrible mic, whichever one. But, yeah, just, be careful of that. If you want to act, legit, hit E while macroing. It does absolutely nothing, but they hear your keyboard, so they'll think you're not macroing. So listen, I'm hitting E. This is me macroing, and this is me macroing while hitting E. Spam clicking E. Almost no difference. Still stays at 1 HP. They'll just think you're just a cracked editor. And as I said before, macros cannot hit 2 tiles. It can only hit 1. To be honest, I don't even know if any of you guys are actually still watching, because most of the time in any tutorial video, as soon as they get to the points and describe it, everybody stops watching. But, yeah. Now to clear more names. So, let's say, I already said all the BHE members, clear. Fresh, clear. Laserbeam, he's not the best editor, but he's clear. Controller players, all of them are immediately cleared, unless if they have a scuffed controller, then in that case, they're not clear, but, you know. But yeah, have a wonderful day, like and subscribe if you learned something new, and love you guys, peace.